As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
So let's explore the Van Allen belts a little bit more and the magnetosphere. Here we have a picture of the sun allegedly with the Earth, and then we have the magnetosphere, which they cutely in their CGI decided to draw it like a spider. And if you go down to this here, we learn a little more that from the sun towards the Earth to a distance of 62,000 miles away, the outer space starts an interaction with the solar wind, where there's a collision, breaking and deflecting a large amount of high-energy electromagnetic waves. This shock in the magnetosphere converts a large amount of kinetic energy into heat, forming a layer of hot, dense plasma at temperatures of, get this folks, 150,000 degrees Kelvin, called the magnetosheath. 150,000 degrees Kelvin. Well, how much temperature is that? So we take 150,000 degrees Kelvin, we convert to Fahrenheit, and what they're telling us up there at the edge of the magnetosphere, at the magnetic sheath, it is 269,540 degrees. Are you kidding me, folks? So this is where the astronauts have to pass through to get to the moon and beyond. This is where all the satellites have to go. Space shuttle is much lower at 130 miles, so it's not being affected. But 269,540 degrees. Yeah, right. So this is an article from 11/27/2014. Invisible plasma shield which protects Earth from radiation discovered 7,200 miles above the planet. Now remember, we said that the Van Allen belt was somewhere right above there, and all of a sudden now, all these years later, decades later, they're discovering a new invisible plasma shield. Whoa, let's find out what that is about. All right, so the exposure to such high energy radiation can harm satellites. We know that. Despite their intense energy, we know that. They cannot come below 7,200 miles from the Earth's surface due to a shield, scientists said in a study published in the respected journal Nature on Thursday. It's almost like these electrons are running into a glass wall in space, Daniel Baker of the University of Colorado Boulder said, and the study's lead author said in a statement. Somewhat like the shields created by the force field of Star Trek. The invisible shield, dubbed the plasmapheric hiss, is made up of very low-frequency electromagnetic waves in the Earth's upper atmosphere. Data and calculations help researchers to determine that the hiss deflects incoming electrons, causing them to smash into neutral gas atoms in the Earth's upper atmosphere and ultimately disappear. Quote, "It's very unusual, extraordinary, and pronounced phenomenon," John Foster, Associate Director of MIT's Haystack Observatory, said. What this tells us that if you parked a satellite or an orbiting space station with humans just inside the impenetrable barrier, you would expect them to have much longer lifetimes. During the study, the researchers observed an exceedingly sharp barrier against harmful electrons, which was steady enough to withstand a solar wind shock in 2013. To determine what could create and maintain such a barrier, the researchers considered a few possibilities, including effects from the Earth's magnetic field and radio signals from human transmitters on Earth. It's like looking at the phenomenon with new eyes with a new set of instrumentation, which gives us the detail to say, quote, "Yes, there is a hard, fast boundary." So do you get what's going on here, folks? There's a boundary of electronic radiation, electromagnetic radiation, where communication devices do not work. This is the dome.
And if you're into people like Nazim Haramein, the great physicist scientist, he's even talked about the fact that the sun is a black hole by which you do the time travel. right? So they may have needed to get out when they got out, etc., etc., etc. There may be all sorts of reasons. But they knew that just in case these beings do exist on Earth, that they're there, they erected what is known as an etheric barrier around the Earth, around our Earth. And the magnetic key of that is the moon. And it's still there, by the way. And that is why no man has ever gone beyond the moon. You can go to the moon, but you can't go beyond it. And you never will. They can send a machine out there, but isn't it interested you that they still haven't gone out there as a human form? This is something that's been held from us. You can't. There's a barrier of energy up there around our Earth that's of an esoteric nature. It involves technology, yes, but of a technology of an extremely advanced nature that even these aliens probably couldn't crack or get out. So this Earth was in quarantine. If you read C.S. Lewis, he goes into all of this about Earth being quarantined. And the name that he has for our planet is called Fulcandra, the silent planet. It has to be quarantined off from the rest of the 9 planets, because planets are not really material bodies, they're intelligences of a kind. And our planet is under quarantine, so this Armageddon, this inner war, can take place in sequestrament. Okay, just like you quarantine a sick patient.
So is it possible that there is an electromagnetic impregnable dome that we cannot escape from? Well, the Babylonians, the Chaldeans, the Sumerians, many had ancient cosmology of a flat earth with a dome around it, as did the Egyptians, where Nut was said to hold up the dome in the sky. Additionally, the Native Americans, the Toltecs, the Mayans, the Cherokee, many had the very, very similar flat earth dome cosmogony that has permeated for 5,000 years until the Vatican Jesuits got a hold of it and changed us to a heliocentric theory. The Bible is filled with geocentric firmament, ends of the earth, creation stories that is not embraced by Christians today. So have any of you thought about how rainbows are created or why they're arced the way they are? Well, according to Wiki, rainbows are spectacular rays of colors. The sun makes rainbows when white sunlight passes through raindrops. The raindrops act like tiny little prisms. So we're being told that tiny raindrops falling and falling from the sky is what makes the rainbow in the sky. Give me a break. And the curvature exactly conforms to the shape of a dome. Could the rainbow be an expression of the Creator using the prism waters above the dome? This makes much more sense to me these days.